night's sleep is brought to you by Native. I've been using Native for about a year and a half now, and I am totally convinced that they have the most unique, fun, and fresh deodorant scents available. Plus, it uses ingredients that I am totally comfortable putting on my body every single day. In addition, I made the switch to plastic-free deodorant. I think we all know by now that plastic isn't great for our environment, so every place that we can replace it, we probably should. Let me open it up real quick. You just pull from the top. Ooh, that's so good. Tie-dye vanilla cupcake. And then you just slide her back on. In order to get more to come out, you just push from the bottom. Super easy. We also have citrus herbal musk and lilac and white tea. Both great. I've never had a problem with my armpits being sticky. It's aluminum-free, paraben-free, vegan-friendly, and cruelty-free. They care. So guys, it's about that time that you go down, hit that link in the description, and get three deodorants for $26. Normally, it's going to be $39. That's 33% off with my code Whispers7. 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 like relics. And this is a nice little relic. You can see on the back, it's got a cigarette ad. Definitely not allowed today. Not sure if I'm even allowed to show that on YouTube. Don't smoke. It's bad for you. I don't think that I know hardly anything about football before the 70s or in the 70s. All that I know is basically Fran Tarkenton. The Steelers were really good. Terry Bradshaw. That's all that really comes to mind. I'm sure that I know more than I think I do, and we will see what I know as we go through. We'll probably read a couple articles. We'll read some of the statistics. We'll read some of the advertisements on the sides. I flipped through a little bit just to kind of get an understanding of what's in here. And I'm pretty excited to read through some of this stuff, see how writers talked about sports, and just see the difference in sports content 50 years ago to now. So here on the first page, we have like an old newspaper, basically like a Facebook marketplace kind of thing, where people are trying to sell their old antiques or their old football helmets, pennants, jerseys, t-shirts, beanies, coffee mugs, stickers, all kinds of different things. This Cowboys helmet right here, you can buy for $10.95, which I feel like is pretty expensive for the 70s. A t-shirt costed $5 and a mug costed $2. I always think that stuff is kind of neat. Because Fran Tarkenton is on the front of the cover, I feel like it's only right to read a little bit of his article so that we can all have an appreciation for old Fran Tarkenton. If you are of a mind to analyze the styles of the NFL quarterbacks on the scene today, you've got to admit that Fran Tarkenton of the Minnesota Vikings remains a rather unique curio in a game designed to rearrange a man's bones, tendons, and ligaments. Whew, jeez, that's intense. Tarkenton, at least at this writing, has somehow avoided debilitating injury. In all the years, 14, he's been playing hide and seek with defensive giants, bent on separating him from his senses. Good Lord. So obviously, there is a direct relation between his style of scrambling out of the pocket and the avoidance of injury. I run away from contact. Tarkenton admits unabashedly, I'm not going to sit back there and get blasted. I can never see much sense in giving up on a play or eating the ball if there's any chance to salvaging it. Tarkenton's method of survival makes things interesting for the offensive lineman. The scramble defies orderly blocking patterns. We don't really have any patterns. Tackle Grady Alderman once cracked. All you do is just stand still and wait for old Fran to come past you. And if you miss your man the first time, don't worry, Fran will be back. If Tarkenton's scrambling wears out the legs of his own blockers and ends, think what it does to the defense. After one game against Tarkenton, the Rams' Merlin Olsen admitted, my legs no idea about Fran Tarkenton before this. Bud Grant, the Vikings coach, said, "I think we have the best quarterback in pro football." And then later on, just after this article, we have a section called "The Fans Speak Out." And it looks like little sections or little blogs that people have written. I'm probably using very modern language. It's probably not a blog. About their opinions on former or prior Football Digest articles. So, David Jaff from Miami, Florida. He's angry. He's not happy. He writes, "How can you pick the Cincinnati Bengals to finish third in their division with a backfield of Essex Johnson and Booby Clark, a great young quarterback in Ken Anderson, with a rugged defense? Again, Cincinnati should make the playoffs and will certainly finish ahead of Houston and Cleveland." He's not a happy boy. We have a picture of O.J. Simpson down here. Okay, that's another player that I'm very familiar with, as we most likely all are, except we're more familiar with his murder than we are his football play, even though he was probably considered the greatest running back when he played. I want to say that O.J. had the most rushing yards during his time in college, and maybe in the NFL. Could be wrong. This is interesting. Here's a section where people ask questions. So instead of us Googling these questions and having the answer in a second or two, people would write in to the Football Digest to have their questions answered. And then the next week, they would answer some of their questions. Here somebody says, "Everyone is talking about O.J. Simpson's fabulous 1973 season, especially his record of 1,100-yard games in one season. But which teams did he gain this yardage against? And which NFL team has yielded the most yards to Simpson in his career?" That's a pretty intricate question. This guy writes, "Could you please give me the all-time regular season, one lost, tied record of the 26 NFL teams?" So up until 1974, the Chicago Bears had won the most games. They were 407 and 233. Next up was the Green Bay Packers with 373 wins and 247 losses. Next, the New York Giants at 347. Then the Cowboys at 108. Then the Minnesota Vikings at 94. So these are organized by win percentage, not overall wins. The Detroit Lions had a 529 Here's an article about Johnny Unitas. Johnny Unitas. You may have heard of Johnny Unitas if you're a football fan. He's certainly a player I'm familiar with. Let's read a little bit about Johnny Unitas. The 145-pound youngster was rejected by Notre Dame and other big-time football colleges, so he settled for Louisville. He was cut in his pro trial, took a construction job, and played sandlot ball on Saturday nights for $6 a game. But he persevered and became a superstar. It sounds like something out of an old John R. Tunis novel, but of course it isn't. It's a true story of John Unitas, the man generally acknowledged as the greatest quarterback of all time. And now the legend is ended. For the age of 41, he has decided to call it a career. The uniform John took off for the last time belonged to the San Diego Chargers, but to football fans he will always be identified with Baltimore, who at this time was the Baltimore Colts. And even in this final sad moment, defeated at last by age and accumulated injuries, he showed the spirit which carried him to glory during all those record-breaking years with the Colts. I hate to quit playing football, he said. I'd like to play for another 30 years. Your mind is willing, but your body wears out. Unitas was a 9th-round draft choice of the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1955, partly, no doubt, because he was a local product. The one-time skinny kid had grown into a rugged 6'1", 195-pounder by then, and he looked good in inter-squad drills, but for some reason he never got into a single play in an exhibition game. When the Steelers cut him, and he insisted that he didn't have a chance, but they wouldn't even consider him for the taxi squad. It was just $10 for bus fare back home, and goodbye. He ended up becoming a backup for the Colts. There was an injury, and he got his first start. And then he had the rest of his career. But I'm not going to read the rest of the article for the sake of the video. If you're really interested in finishing the article, go ahead and pick up Football Digest in 1974. I wonder if you can Google it and read the articles. Here's an article about suicide squads. Looks like they have to do with special teams. I don't think I'm going to read it. We have a Football Digest special Christmas offer. 1 year, 10 issues, only $3.95. So it looks like I can fill this out and send it in, and I can start receiving these. That sounds like a really good investment. I can't wait to see what's in the next article. Alright, the next issue, I should say. Here's an article. Is this the year of the punter? Tim Foley dives in vain as Ray Guy watches another of his punts soar. I have no interest in reading about punters. I'm sorry, punters. over-the-ear radio system, wireless. And it looks like they have bullet points for why you should buy them. That's good. Keep it simple. Here we go. It's called the Head Hugger Radio. This is why you should buy it. Number one, because it muffles outside noise so you can clearly hear your favorite program. That's a pretty good reason. Number two, it has no wires to trip you or hamper your movements. Phenomenal. It is entirely self-contained in a headset, antenna, tuning, volume dials, and batteries. Number four, it's guarded against defects and workmanship for 90 days from day to purchase. Number five, it has a 30-day money-back guarantee. Number six, it may be used almost anywhere with little to no interference. Number seven, it's available in AM models and FM models. So it looks like you either buy an AM model or an FM. You can't have both in one. You can buy one for $22, or you can get two for $40. But if you want the FM model, one is going to be $30 and two would be $57. So guys, if you want to be listening to that good quality radio, you better put in the extra couple bucks, which is worth it. So guys, if you're interested in that, go ahead and hit that link in the description. Oh man, I'd love to do an ad for Head Hugger Radio. If you guys are out there, hit me up. Here we have a quick quiz. The Football Digest quick quiz. So if you get 8 of these questions right, you're a football expert. 7, superior. 6, good. 4 to 6, average. But it looks like someone has ripped out the second page of the quick quiz. So we only get 6 questions. Let's see how we do. The first question. In 1970, the first player selected in the NFL draft was a strong-armed quarterback at the Louisiana Tech. I know this one already. Although he has directed his team to a playoff berth in each of the last 2 seasons, he has never achieved the stardom predicted for him. Who is he? Terry Bradshaw. And I know that because the Duck Dynasty dude was his backup at Louisiana Tech. Can you match these NFL teams with their home playing field? We have the Saints, the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Broncos, and the Bears. So I know that the Bears play at Soldier Field. I know that the Chiefs play at Arrowhead Stadium. I know that the Broncos play at Mile High Stadium. But the last two, I'm not sure about. We have the Saints and the 49ers left. We have Candlestick Park and Tulane Stadium. And I'm going to take a guess and say that the Saints play at Candlestick Park. I've been to New Orleans, and they seem like somebody who really likes candles. So that's going to be my guess. We'll see if I'm right. Rule variations initiated by the World Football League were intended to bring more offensive punch into pro football. One rule regarding the sidelines promised to make the jobs of receivers and referees a little easier. What was it? No clue. I'm going to say that it's the rule where if they're pushed out of bounds, they're allowed to come back in. That's probably definitely not right. on the opposition. Can you pair these stars to form 5 of pro NFL's top defensive duos? I have no idea who a single one of these players are. Fred Dreyer, Jim Marshall, Bill Stanfill, Barney Chavez, Claude Humphrey, Vern Den Herder, Lyle Alzado, John Zook, Jack Youngblood. His last name is Youngblood. That's hard. Carl Eller. Not a single. I have no idea who any of those people are. When Dwayne Thomas joined the Washington Redskins in 1973, he created a mini furor by requesting jersey number 33 ripped to the Redskins. That number happened to be the only jersey ever retired by the Redskins. So Thomas settled for number 39. And then I don't have the rest of the question. Alright guys, we're running a little long. I'm going to pick one more article to read. We'll check the answers to that quiz. And we will get out of here. We will go to sleep. This one looks really good. The day face mask tackling was outlawed. I actually didn't know that it was ever legal. So, it's true that the NFL used to not wear face masks. So maybe when they added face masks, they didn't have a rule to not use them to tackle people. Let's read about it. It is no simple task for a single performer to change the way games are played, especially the old established games that have been around for years, a century and more. Dick Night Train Lane did it in a professional football game. That is not the reason he was inducted into Pro Football's Hall of Fame, the highest of tributes available to the men of the sport. He got there for special reasons, such as the fact that in his time, for all time, for that matter, he ranks as one of the truly superb defensive backs to play professional football. The former Lion cornerback remains the second leading pass interceptor in the record books. His 68 career thefts surpassed by only one other, M. Tunnel, among the great ball thieves of the gridiron. He played with the Detroit Lions from 1960 to 1965, after 8 seasons with the Chicago Cardinals. He was, for those who do not remember, a special sort of cat on the football field. He was quick and slick and cunning, and far tougher than his easy, almost casual manners suggested. A kid named Lem Barney replaced him in the Lions lineup, and it was Night Train who gave Barney the instinct to take a chance to gamble on an interception that could turn a game around. Everybody, no doubt, is aware that it is a very bad thing, and dangerous practice to tackle ball carriers by grabbing the face mask. Right? Question mark. The rule making such a practice one of the more onerous personal fouls in the game was introduced in 1962. Night Train Lane brought it about. One tackle he made left no doubts in the minds of the rule makers that face tackling was courting tragedy and disaster, and so it was outlawed. They're going to tell us the story now. It was purely accident that John Arnett was not grievously injured today. Night Train floored him in Los Angeles Coliseum. The Lions were playing the Rams in the Coliseum in the fall of '61. Arnett came flying down the left sideline, having turned the corner on the Lion defense, and now he was headed full speed toward a certain touchdown. Night Train, racing desperately to catch up, came with a long stride, then took a flying leap at Arnett. His arm reached out and over Arnett's shoulder, his hand grasping the bar across Arnett's face. Arnett's head stopped, as if hit by an invisible wall. His feet and his body swept forward like a swing lasting impression, a man simply cannot be tackled in that fashion without serious injury resulting. They used smelling salts to wake him up. Whew. It's amazing how detailed the imagery is when writing these articles. I don't really read magazines anymore, but I find a lot of joy reading about sports and reading about certain plays happening in the way that people describe them instead of just watching them and commenting about them. Somebody has to use their words to describe the play happening, and he described him as his head hitting an invisible wall and his body sweeping forward. It's kind of like a cartoon. That is scary, though. Alright guys, let's read the answers to the quiz. The first answer was Terry Bradshaw. I got that one right. Oh, I missed. Oh, I should have known that. I should have known that Tulane is near there. New Orleans Saints play at Tulane Stadium. Not anymore, but they used to. I missed that one. The new rule was that a receiver is only to have 1 foot in bounds when catching a forward pass. In the NFL, a reception is nullified if the receiver does not have both feet in bounds when the catch is made. Okay, so the WFL rule only needed 1 foot. The NFL made it to where you need 2 feet. Interesting. Vince Lombardi was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, but he was also the head coach of the Washington Redskins for 1 season. I didn't know that. The defensive end pairings, not even going to read. But the man named Youngblood was paired with Dryer. And then we didn't get to finish the last question. I did fairly good. I feel like I knew a little bit what I was talking about. But I thoroughly enjoyed